Hi guys, and welcome to my Fall Guys crochet tutorial. So today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet your own little fall guy like this one here. And I've actually crocheted loads of these already, so as you can see I've pretty much got one in every colour. So if you're interested in finding out how to create this, then stay tuned and I'll let you know what you need. So what you'll be needing is some aran yarn in any colour of your choice. I've chosen red this time, but do bear in mind that this is actually technically chunky yarn that I just needed to use up. So this does work with chunky yarn as well, but I think it would probably turn out a bit nicer and less tight with aran. But yeah, I just wanted to use that one up, so that's what I'm going to be using today. Then also some aran yarn in a skin colour. You don't need a whole ball of that, just a very small amount. It's literally just for this face part here that we need that. Then you will need a small amount of black felt, just this amount should do for the eyes. Then you will need a 4mm crochet hook, or whatever size matches whatever weight of yarn you're using, because as I mentioned, it's really not that important what weight you use as long as you use a hook that's sort of appropriate for that size. And I would always recommend sizing down a little bit to reduce holes. Then we'll need some stuffing, so probably need more than that, but just to illustrate. We'll need a yarn needle for sewing. We'll need some fabric glue to sew down the eyes. We will need some scissors. And I think that's everything. Yeah, that's everything that you'll be needing, so not too much involved in this tutorial. And this is quite a straightforward pattern as well, so I would say that beginners can probably do this fairly easily. So yeah, let's get started. So we're going to start off with the head and the body, which are sewn as one piece. So the first thing we need to do is to make this face circle here. So we start with our light pink yarn and we need to do 6 single crochets in a magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull the hole closed. Then we need to do a standard increase up to 12, so we need to increase all the way around to do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then for round 3 we need to do single crochet increase and repeat that 5 more times to get us up to 18 single crochets at the end of round 3. And then for round 4 we need to do 2 single crochet increase and repeat that 5 more times to get us up to 24 single crochets at the end of round 4. So I'll meet you at the end of round 4. So now at the end of round 4 we have 24 single crochets all the way around, so we need to change colour, and you can just do a standard colour change at this point. So you could in the final stitch have, instead of yarning over in the light pink, you could have taken your other colour and just yarned over in that instead. But what I'm going to do to make this look a bit neater, because we want it to be a circular shape, I'm going to cut the yarn leaving a slight tail here so that we can hide this in the back of the face and then cut later. So I'm just going to pull that through, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I call the fake single crochet, and I didn't come up with this myself. I found this on another YouTube tutorial, but I'm going to show you how to do it quickly here now. So all you do is with this tail, you put your hook through the next stitch, so you don't go into the, you skip one stitch and then you go into the next one. So I'm going into this one, and then you pull the yarn through like that, and then all you do is back to the last stitch of round 4, you go into the front loop only from our perspective at the moment, and then you pull the yarn through again. So what you should end up with, as you can see, is a fake single crochet here. So this isn't actually a real single crochet, this is just a fake one that we've just made here, but it kind of makes the circle a bit neater. Obviously you can still kind of see a little bump here, but I just prefer how it looks personally. So now that I've done that, what I would usually do is just thread the yarn through my needle and then sort of feed it through a few stitches here, maybe do a couple of knots like this, then I'll feed it through again, maybe this one here, and then I'll just cut that because that'll get hidden when we sew the face to the body anyway. So, and there we go. So now grab your other colour and we're going to attach this and do an extra round using that colour. Okay, so I've got my other colour now, and as you can probably tell, it is quite a lot thicker than the light pink, and that's just simply because I had some chunky red that I wanted to use up because it had just been sitting there for a while. So don't feel like you have to use chunky, use whatever weight that you have with an appropriate sized hook. So now we need to decide which stitch we're going to reattach the yarn into, and I think I'm going to pick, I usually pick one near to the fake single crochet that we just made, so I think I'm going to pick this one here, and we just need to go into the back loop only and then reattach the yarn. So pull it through and then chain one, and then that's reattached now, and all we need to do is just single crochet but in the back loops only, using our next colour. So in the same stitch that we just attached into, I've just done a single crochet in the back loop only, and then in this next one I'm going to do and then we do one in the fake single crochet as well, so don't skip that. That is counted as a normal single crochet. So you can see I'm just single crocheting in the back loops only, like so, and I will meet you when I've finished that and I'll show you how to finish this off. So I've reached the end of round 5 in the red colour yarn, and yeah, so I've done 24 single crochets all the way around in the back loops only. So now I'm just going to do another fake single crochet to finish this off, because again I want it to be as neat a circle as possible, but yeah, make sure that you cut using a bit more yarn this time so that you have yarn ready to sew to the main body as well. I always like to do a bit too much rather than too little, so that should hopefully be enough. So I'm just going to pull that through like this, and then I'll show you once more how to do the fake single crochet. So if you just follow along with what I'm doing, so I'm skipping one stitch and going into the next one, pulling through, and then I'm going back into that first stitch and just going into the front loop only from our current perspective, and then pulling through. And then as you can see, when you turn it round, it really does kind of complete the circle and make it look a lot more neater. Obviously on the back there's a slight bump here, but you won't see that when it's sewn down, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, so that is our face there. So now all we need to do is to cut some small black eyes out of felt. So I'm going to go and get my felt and then I'll show you how to do that. Oh, and you'll need your glue as well. So now we're going to cut the eyes out of some black felt. You could obviously use embroidery thread or whatever other method that you prefer to do the eyes with, but I like to use felt for this. So to be honest, there's not really any exact science to how I do this. I'm literally just going to create sort of a rough oval shape using a little piece of scrap black felt. And I do this freehand, but you can download a template or you can make your own template on Paint or something like that, but I'm lazy, so I just like to do it freehand. So got a rough oval shape there, and then all I'll do is get the face and just think about where I would place it and whether it's the right size. So that's where it would go. It's a little big compared to the other example full guide that I just showed you, but to be honest, I think I'm probably happy with this. I might trim it down a little bit, but that seems to be roughly the right shape. So then all I'll do is I will just place this on another piece of felt, and then I will just cut around it, which I'm going to do off camera because I like to have it quite close to my face so I can see what I'm doing, but I'll show you once I've done that what the eyes come out like and how I glued them to the face. So now I've got my two eyes, and I did end up making them a little bit smaller. I trimmed them down a bit. Now all you need to do is to position them how you like them on the face, and then pick them up one at a time and put a dab of glue on the back. Not too much, that'll do. And then simply place back down roughly where you had it. Yep, I think that's about right. And then same on the other side. So there we have it. Now the eyes are on. So the next step would be just to start crocheting the body while we wait for the eyes to dry. So let's do that now. So for the head and body, we're going to start off with 6 single crochets in a magic circle. So there we are, and then we're just going to do some standard increases in increments of 6 each round. So for round 2 we're going to increase all the way around, and that'll get us to 12 single crochets at the end of the round. Round 3, single crochet increase 6 times, and that'll get us to 18. Round 4, 2 single crochet increase 6 times, and that'll get us to 24. Then round 5, 3 single crochet increase 6 times, and that'll get us to 30. So I will meet you at the end of round 5. So now I've reached the end of round 5, and I've got 30 single crochets all the way around. Now we just need to do 10 rounds of single crocheting all the way around, so that'll be round 6 to 15. I will meet you at the end of round 15, and that's the point at which we're going to sew the face onto the head. So yep, I'll meet you at that point. So I reached the end of round 15, and as you can see the head shape is kind of coming along now. So what we need to do is sew the face to the head. So you need to decide which side is going to be where you sew your face. It doesn't really matter where you decide to sew it, but I usually go to the opposite side of where the last single crochet was in the round. So I'm going to sew mine around here. And then you just need to place it down, so work out roughly where you want it to be. So I think about here. I usually leave one round that I don't sew into, and then I sew into the round above that, and I find that works quite well for positioning. So once you've done that, you can pin it down, but I've decided not to. And I'm just going to do a whip stitch all the way around to sew it down. So I'm going to just select a nearby stitch and go through like this to start, and then I usually select, so if you look at this single crochet here, I usually actually go into a loop just beneath that when I'm sewing it, because I want this part, as you can see, I want this part to kind of pop out. I don't want it to be completely flat, because I like how that looks better. So that's what I'm doing here. So I've gone in through this loop, and then I'm going to go into this one here. And then I'm going to just keep doing the same thing, so going through this loop and then select a nearby stitch. Ooh, got my crochet hook caught up in that one. And then you can see that that's sewing it down but keeping these like V shapes quite prominent still, so they're not completely sewn flat. So I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around, and then I will meet you once I've finished that. So for round 16 we're going to do 9 single crochets, increase, and repeat that twice more to get us to 33 single crochets at the end of the round. And then for round 17 we're going to do 10 single crochets, increase, and repeat that twice more to get us to 36 at the end of round 17. So I'll meet you at the end of round 17. So I've reached the end of round 17 and we now have 36 single crochets all the way around. So as you can see, it's slightly widening to create the body shape. So now what we need to do is 7 more rounds of just single crocheting all the way around. So that'll be round 18 to 24. So I'll meet you at the end of round 24. So I got to the end of round 24. So at this point we need to start stuffing. So I'm going to grab my stuffing and do that now. So we should stuff quite firmly, so try and get pretty much as much stuffing in there as you can without it misshaping the full guy. And then you can continue topping up the stuffing as you go through the next few rounds. So now we've reached the point where we just need to keep decreasing in order to close off the bottom of the full guy. So for round 25 we need to do 4 single crochet, decrease, do that 6 times to get us to 30 single crochets at the end of the round. Then round 26, 3 single crochet, decrease 6 times to get us to 24. Round 27, 2 single crochet, decrease 6 times to get us to 18. Round 28, single crochet, decrease 6 times to get us to 12. And then round 29, decrease all around, and that'll get us to 6 at the end of round 29. So I'll meet you at the end of round 29. So I reached the end of the final round there, and now we have 6 single crochets left in the round. So all we need to do is just snip the yarn, leaving a bit of a tail. And then pull through. Then grab our needle. And then we just need to go through all of the single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then if you pull very tight, the hole should close up, and then all you need to do is simply thread through one of the stitches at the back like this, and then you can simply cut the tail, and there we have it. So that's it. Now we have completed the main body shape, as you can see. So the next step will be to do the arms, so I will meet you back to do the arms. So to start the arm, we'll firstly do 4 single crochets in a magic circle. Then we will, for round 2, increase all the way around, and that will get us to 8 single crochets at the end of round 2. And then for rounds 3 and 4 we'll just single crochet all the way around, so I'll meet you at the end of round 4. So I've reached the end of round 4, and at this point we're going to start crocheting the fingers. So you can see on here there's 4 fingers that we need to crochet. So we're first going to do the thumb, which is a bit bigger than the other fingers, so it's a slightly different pattern. So what we need to do that is grab some more of the same colour yarn. You could cut a bit off, or all I've done is I've just taken the other end, because obviously within every ball of yarn there's 2 ends, so I've just pulled out the other end here to use now. So what I'm going to do is select a stitch where I'm going to put the thumb. So I'm going to select this stitch here, which is in round 2. So I'm going to go into this stitch and I'm going to reattach the red yarn, and I'm going to do a chain 1, and then all I'm going to do in this stitch is just simply do 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then that creates the thumb. So I'm just going to cut the yarn, pull through, and then I'm going to pull the yarn through into the inside of the hand. So I'm just going to do that. I think I've got it caught on something. There we go. So I've pulled that through, and then I'm going to do the same with the other tail here. And again, the reason I'm doing this at this stage is so that we can then go into the back and just do a knot with these 2 tails, and then we can cut them, and that'll leave it a lot more secure on the inside there. So that's that. And then all we need to do is we just need to reattach the yarn again in a stitch next to the thumb. So I'm going to pick one of these stitches in round 1, and these are quite tight, so it might be difficult to get your hook in there at first, but just keep trying and I'm sure you'll be able to do it. So I'm just going to again reattach the red yarn, chain 1, and then all I'm going to do in this first stitch is do 1 single crochet, and then I am going to slip stitch into the same stitch. So there we have it, we've got another finger there. Then in the next stitch I'm going to do slip stitch, single crochet, slip stitch. So pick the next one that you're going to go into, which I'm going to pick this one, and I'm going to do slip stitch, single crochet, slip stitch, and then I'm just going to do that once more in this stitch here. So slip stitch, single crochet, slip stitch, and as you can see that creates the appearance of the fingers. So I'm just going to again cut the yarn, pull it through to the inside of the hand, and with this tail I'm just going to do the same thing, pull it through, and there we have it. There is our 4 fingers on the hand. So now all you need to do is, like I say, secure these random ends on the inside and then cut them so that they're not getting in the way of your work. And then once we've done that, we will continue on with round 5. So for the next 6 rounds, which is rounds 5 to 10, we're just going to single crochet all the way around. So I'll meet you at the end of round 10. I've reached the end of round 10 and there's still 8 single crochets all the way around. Now at this point you can stuff if you want to. I'm going to add a light amount of stuffing to the arm, so that's what I'm going to just do now. And a tip to get the stuffing in is just to use the back of your crochet hook like this. So I think that's enough stuffing. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to slip stitch across to close the hole. So I'm going to go into this next single crochet, and I'm going to go into the same single crochet that I was just in, and I'm going to do a slip stitch like this, and then I'm just going to repeat that to close the arm. So 2, 3, and 4. So now we've slip stitched it closed. Then all we need to do is cut the yarn, leaving enough to sew to the body. So I'm just going to cut about here, and then we just need to repeat all of that once more, and then we just need to sew the arms to the body. So I'll meet you when you have 2 arms. I've got both arms now, so I'm going to start sewing to the body. So I'll just show you how I do one, and then you can do the other one. So essentially all I'm going to do is just try and line up the top of the arm with the bottom of the face here. So I'm going to roughly put it on this row on one of the sides. So I'm just going to, again, you can pin it down if you want to, but I don't bother doing that with this. So I'm going to put it about here, and then all I'm going to do is just whip stitch across. So the arm is now sewn down. You can now go in the other side of the arm and just sew these parts down as well. So that's what I'm going to do next. So there we have it, and then as you can see the arm is kind of sticking up for me now. So what I might do is go back through the arm to a middle stitch. So I'm coming out through the back here, and then I will do some sewing into some stitches around the middle of the arm to try and keep it flat. So like that, and now you can see that it's still sticking up a little bit, so if I wanted to I could go in through the end and again sew down some more stitches there to make it completely flat to the body, but I think I'm just going to leave it like this for now because I'm happy with how that looks. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side, and then I will show you how to do the feet. So to start the feet we're going to do 6 single crochets in a magic circle. Then for the next round we're going to do 2 single crochets, 2 increases, and then 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, 7, 8. And then I'm just going to talk you through the next few rounds because they're very similar to what we've just done there. So for round 3, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 2 increases, 3 single crochets to get us to 10 single crochets at the end of the round. Round 4, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 2 decreases, 3 single crochets to get us back down to 8. Then round 5, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 2 decreases, 2 single crochets to get us back down to 6. And then for round 6, we're just going to single crochet all around. So at the end of round 6, you'll just have 6 single crochets in the round, and that will be the end of the foot. So I will meet you when we've got to that point. So I've reached the end of the round, and you should end up with a foot shape like this when you flatten it down. So all we need to do is just, again, cut the yarn, leaving it enough for sewing. So I'm going to cut about here, pull through. We don't need to do any slip stitches this time, and we'll just sew that to the bottom of the body. But first, let's make another one so that we have 2, and then I'll show you how to sew those to the body, and then we're done. I've got my 2 feet now, so I'm going to start sewing these to the bottom of the body. Where I like to position them is kind of either side of the very final round that we did. So it's a bit hard to show you on this camera, but if you look here, this sort of circle that we closed up in the middle, I sort of position it either side of that, and I find that that works quite well. So I'm just going to start sewing this down. I hope you'll be able to see it, but hopefully my explanation has helped you, even if it's not 100% clear. So all I'm going to do is, again, I do whip stitches, and I'm just going to pick a nearby stitch each time and just pull through that, and then just keep going until I'm basically happy that it's secure enough. So I'm just double checking the positioning. So if you look down here, that looks all right to me, so I think that looks okay. So I'm going to continue sewing down on this position. Now you could do this a lot more neatly than I am, but sewing isn't exactly my forte, and to be honest, it doesn't really matter when it's all just this one colour. You can't really see the stitches in much detail, so it doesn't matter if you're a bit messy with the sewing down here. As long as you've got it in a good position, then it should be fine. So now I've got the last round of the foot kind of sewn down here, and all I want to do is just to make sure that the foot will be a bit flatter rather than sitting like this. So again, similarly to what I did with the arms, I'm probably just going to go through into one of these sort of middle stitches here, and then just sew down a bit more so that it's not flapping around. So I'll do a few like this, because if you just do one, it's usually quite visible. So I'm just gonna do a few more, stitches. I'm gonna go through that one, and then maybe this one here, and then I might do one more. And then I'm just going to check if I like how that's looking. Yep, I think that's fine. So I'm going to leave it like that, and then I'm just going to do the other foot, and then I'll show you the finished product. So guys, this is the finished full guy, now that I've finished sewing the feet on. So yeah, I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. And yeah, please do tune in again. I've got some more tutorials planned for the near future, so keep your eye out on your subscriptions box, and hopefully there'll be some more videos for you soon. Thank you, bye.